Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. RedKettleVolunteer.org. That's the place you can go to register to ring the bell for the Red Kettle campaign this year. And Captain Michael Harrington is hoping with his volunteers, with his board, with all the supporters of Salvation Army to raise $75,000 this year. What happens if you don't raise it?
Well, we can only provide services for what we have income for. So every year we start off with a blank slate. You never know how this thing's going to turn out. And you just prayerfully go in and you prepare for it and you put your best foot forward. So far, each and every year we've done that. We have been successful. We found that we got a wonderfully giving community here that supports the Salvation Army. So, you know, we don't think about what if we don't make it. We just work hard to make it.
The the Salvation Army got started in England.
Yes, in 1865.
But the Red Kettle aspect of it got started here, yes?
Yes, so there's a young captain in San Francisco in 1891. He wanted to have a Thanksgiving dinner, and he had no funds to do it. So he knew he had people who needed food. He wanted to have, he wanted to bring that group of people in and have a huge dinner table where they could all share a meal together. And he needed to figure out a way to do it. And he got a crab pot and stuck it out at the harbor. And when the workers were done working their shift, they would walk by the crab pot and they would put in their few cents, and it finally added up, and he was successful, and he had was able to provide dinners for a multitude of families that year. And you know, when something works, you know, you just keep doing it, right? So here we are. It's a big part of our Salvation Army. Everybody's going to do it all across the country this year. You can see it at the halftime every year of the Cowboys football game on Thanksgiving, and we host a halftime show. The Cowboys have been very supportive of the Salvation Army and our works.
When I watch the Cowboys and I see that presence that you have with that football team, I think of you guys here locally. What happened that made that connection? Do you know what that was?
Yes, Jerry Jones used to serve on the Salvation Army Advisory Board, and now his daughter does. So she's on the National Salvation Army Advisory Board, and they make that, you know, they give us that airtime where everybody can see the shield. We have Ezekiel Elliott jumping in the kettle bucket the last few years, and it just helps promote our brand.
What gets lost sometimes, I think, you correct me if you think I'm wrong, that all the social services that you're providing, the food pantries and the working with the young people and things like that, sometimes gets lost is that this is a ministry. Yes, this is a church.
Yes, it is. So as we were speaking earlier off camera, my wife and I, we are clergy, and we do, we have a community center and worship center where we provide church and Sunday schools and Bible studies. And we also have human service programs. And it's very challenging. There's a lot of work to do to make this work. And there's only 24 hours in a day. So we split our time the best we can to make sure we have our priorities straight, that you know, we're always following the mission of the Salvation Army, which is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, and out of the motivation of the love of God, we serve human need.
What denomination do you think the Salvation Army would more closely align with?
So Catherine and William Booth, our founders, were ordained Methodist preachers in England, and they wanted to go out and preach the gospel to the poor, those who are in the streets, those who are afflicted by alcoholism and homelessness, and you know, the church didn't really support them at that time, so they stepped away from the Methodist ministry. But you know, we hold that background, and they went out and they went into the streets and they started preaching the gospel, and people became being saved. And that's how the Salvation Army was born, just through their, God inspired these two individuals to take it to the streets, and alcoholics were actually transformed and changed and became some of the first Salvation Army officers. And they would do the same. They would be inspired. They would know that their life was significantly changed and transformed through the gospel and the love of God. You know, William Booth has a saying, it's called food, soap, and salvation. So, or soup, soap, and salvation. So, you know, you feed somebody, you get them cleaned up, and you tell them about Jesus, and let that work in them.
The place for people to go again, if they want to register for the Red Kettle this year.
redkettlevolunteer.org. Yes.
And they can register for blocks of 2 hours. You can do it alone, you can do it with a family, friends, whatever you want to do.
Yes, you sign up 2 or more hours. It's real easy. You just kind of click off the areas you want and the times you want, and we'll get back to you.
And will they get a phone call? Will they get an email? What'll
They'll
they
get an email. We'll also follow it up with a phone call.
Okay. And the choice of locations there too. So if you live in New Hartford, you want to do it in New Hartford, you can. If you live in Utica, you want to do it in Utica, you can.
And you can pick your time of day that best suits you.
Yeah. And what do you normally do? What you start from what time to what time?
On average, we're from about 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay. And I can tell you from past experience, it makes you feel good about Christmas doing it.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Well, good luck. I hope that
Thank
you can get to that 75,000 this year and maybe beyond.
Thank you.
Okay. That's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back next week. We'll do it all again. Don't forget cnyhomepage.com. Lots of good stuff there. Until next time, take care of yourself, everybody.